everyone, me again. If you're new around here, my name's Alice and I make videos all about affordable beauty and fashion. Please validate my existence by subscribing to my channel. As you can see in the title, today I just felt like chatting about some really cheap makeup. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 drugstore favourites for £5 or less. And we are just talking about drugstore makeup here. I'm not going to include anything from AliExpress because I already have a top 10 video on AliExpress makeup, and I'm also not going to mention Primark. Today it's just going to be things that you can find in Boots and Superdrug. So let's kick things off. At number 10, I have something that I've been using on and off since university. So this has been a favourite of mine for a few years. It's something that I tend to go back to a lot. It's very, very affordable. It's only £3.99 and I actually have mine in my custom makeup palette at the moment. So it's this product right here. It's the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in Translucent. So like I said, I'm just keeping mine in my custom eyeshadow palette at the moment. Although the product itself is amazing, the packaging that it comes in isn't, and it always breaks very, very quickly. But this is actually a magnetic pan, so you can just stick it in whatever palette you're using. The product itself is really nice. It's just a matte setting powder. Even though I really love my dewy foundations, I do still need a matte setting powder in my collection at all times, just because I need something to set the centre of my face. Otherwise my makeup will kind of break down. Matte setting powders are also really handy to have if you want your makeup to last a lot longer. So yeah, I've usually got this in my makeup drawers all the time. However, I did want to include an alternative just in case you are not a fan of really matte setting powders. So I also recommend the Obsession Game Set Matte Powder. This is £4. It comes in a whole bunch of shades. I've got what I think is the palest one here. This is called Cabo. Now I know this is called the Game Set Matte Powder, but it kind of isn't. It does have a little bit of something to it, a little bit of a glow, a little bit of a sheen. But this is definitely something I go for when I'm wearing a matte foundation and I just want to bring a little bit of life back into my skin. So yeah, if you've got slightly drier skin and you just want something a bit more forgiving, I'd go for this one. This is more of like a glowy satin kind of finish. The packaging is also a little bit better as well. Next up at number 9, we have some lipsticks. Now, you guys all know that I'm a little bit of a lipstick hoarder, but when I was going through my collection and looking up the prices, I was really surprised at how many actually cost a little bit more than £5, maybe like the £6 or £7 mark. But I did find something that fit the budget that I do really, really like. So these are from NYX. These are their creamy round lipsticks and they cost £4 each. So I actually have two shades here. I've got Talia and B52. They're both kind of everyday pink options for me, so Talia is a little bit more cool toned, a little bit lighter, whereas B52 is a little bit deeper and it's got a bit more of a red hue to it. They're both really lovely. I really like the formula of this actually. It's very opaque, it gives you a lot of colour, but it's also very creamy as the name suggests, so it just kind of glides over the lips really smoothly. Very little effort required. If you do want something a little bit more matte on the lips though, I've got something coming up later. And then at number 8, I really wanted to shout out some eyeshadow palettes. These are the Reloaded eyeshadow palettes from Revolution. Now I've said before that the Reloaded palettes aren't always my favourite formula. There have been some that I've really liked from this range and there have been some that I just didn't enjoy quite as much. However, I think when you're in the drugstore looking for an eyeshadow palette, Revolution definitely have the best range and the best selection available for the smallest cost. And in terms of performance versus value for money, they are definitely the brand to go for if you want a drugstore eyeshadow palette. So I've got the Reloaded palettes here because they do cost £5 each. And I've got my favourite two. So this is the Provocative palette. This is basically a dupe of the Urban Decay Naked Cherry. So it's got a nice selection of purples and pinks in here. If you're a regular viewer on my channel, you'll know how much I love my pink eyeshadow. I really like this colour selection actually, even though it is a little bit monotone and a lot of the looks are going to be quite repetitive. I don't mind that for £5. There's no mirror, there's no fancy packaging or anything like that, but you are getting 15 really nice shadows for very little money. And I also wanted to show you the Velvet Rose as well. This is a dupe of the Anastasia, is it the Soft Glam eyeshadow palette? I feel like it is. They're not all dupes, by the way. Some of them do have like their own unique colour story, but most of these reloaded palettes are dupes for something that's more expensive. I think this one is a really nice special occasion palette. It's got a lot of darker tones in here, so it's better for like a smoky kind of eyeshadow look, in my opinion. I'm sure you could make some everyday looks with this and it would look absolutely lovely, but for me, I usually reach for this when I want to go for something a little bit more dramatic. I actually have a video with this one if you want to see this in action. At number 7, we have another lip option, but this is actually a lip liner. I don't really use matte lipsticks, and that's just because if I want to get a matte lip, I'll just use a lip liner all over. And lip liners are a lot more versatile as well, because you can use this underneath something that's a lot more creamy if you want to either slightly change the colour or alter your lip line, or if you just want the shade to last a bit longer. So this is the Rimmel Exaggerate Lip Liner in East End Snob, and this is another product that I've actually been repurchasing since university. I like the fact that you can twist it up first of all and that you don't have to sharpen it. That just makes my life a little bit easier. The colour is really nice. It's a very cool toned pink shade. It works really, really beautifully with a lot of different lip options, but my favourite way to wear this is with a creamy nude lipstick. If I just want to make it look a little bit more cool toned, or if I want to make it a little bit deeper, this is a really nice one for that. It can feel a little bit drying, what lip liner doesn't, but it will last very, very well. This next one isn't going to be a surprise at all to my regular viewers. I've definitely mentioned this quite a lot. It's been featured in my everyday makeup routine, it's been featured in my 2019 makeup favourites, and I think I also included it in my top 10 Revolution makeup products as well. So I've been really raving about this, but the reason I mention it so much is because I do really love it and I use it so often. It's the Revolution Pro Powder Foundation. So this isn't a setting powder. For me, this is more of a finishing touch. My skin is quite sensitive and prone to redness, so sometimes even after I've done my foundation, my concealer, I've set my face, there's still a little bit of redness just around my jaw and my cheeks, just peeking through the makeup a little bit, and this is really nice on a small setting brush just to tap over any offending areas. Nothing will cover up those stubborn bits of redness like this will. It is a powder foundation, so I'm sure you could use this all over the face if you wanted to. I personally have dry skin, so I haven't tried that. This is £5, by the way, if I haven't already said. So at number 5, we have a product that's actually quite new in my collection. So I only did my first impressions for this quite recently, but I already know that it's a staple in my makeup bag. I've been using it every time I've done my makeup since I first tried this product, and that's the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. So as you might know if you watched my first impressions on this, I was really hoping that this would replace my Maybelline Colour Tattoo in Creme de Rose, which has sadly been discontinued. And then I tried it in my first impressions video, and I actually think I like this a lot more than the Maybelline Colour Tattoo. And that was previously holy grail for me. So I've got really hooded eyes and my eyeshadow just never stays in place. That's why I don't do a lot of fancy eyeshadow looks, because there's literally no point. But this just helps everything stay in place, and it's a really nice colour as well just to start off the look. They actually do other colours apart from this one, so if you're not into cool toned shadows, they do have other things available. They've got a bright white one and some deeper ones as well, but it's really lovely and it's only £5. I really wanted to include a foundation in this video as well, and one that I really like that costs £5 exactly is the Revolution Fast Base Foundation Stick. I have the shades F1 and F2 here. As you can see, it is just your typical twist up foundation stick, and I really don't have very much of this particular shade left. Like, this is literally all the product I have left for the shade F1 because I've been really using it and really enjoying it. It's definitely a very creamy formula, so I would only recommend this for normal to dry or dry to very dry skin. I think if you have oily skin, you're not going to get on with this because it definitely does look a little bit dewy on the skin. For me, I love that. Again, I've got really, really dry skin, but also I just really like this because it's so easy to throw on your face. Like, you really don't have to think about it. You don't have to be very good at makeup. You just draw it wherever you need the coverage, blend it out, and you're good to go. It blends out super easily. It's very pigmented as well, this particular formula, so a little goes a very long way. I find some foundation sticks you have to keep building them for ages and ages and ages, and that kind of defeats the point because it makes the process take so much longer. but these ones, they're so quick to chuck on. This is a really great product when I'm in a hurry, when I just don't have time to be faffing around with my foundation. This is a really good product to take traveling with you as well, or if you do your makeup on the train or on the bus, I think you'll really get on with this. For number 3, this one's kind of cheating a little bit because I'm going to be talking about a whole range of products, but they're all kind of under the same category. I'll show you what I mean. So I really wanted to give a shout out to these I Heart Revolution baked products. So I've got a couple of different things from this range. I have a few of their Blushing Heart blushes like this. I've also got a bronzer from them, and I've also got 2 highlighters from the baked range as well. But they are such amazing quality. They're so pigmented and they all have this really wonderful glowy finish and they all look amazing. So I'll talk you through what I've got. From the blushes, I've got this one. This is Candy Queen of Hearts. This is a very pink blush, not for the faint-hearted. It's got just the right amount of glow to it, so it's definitely not too shimmery on the cheeks, but it does have a really flattering glow there. I've got another blush from their collection as well. This one isn't like the best on my skin tone, but I still have it and use it as an eyeshadow from time to time. So this is the Peachy Pink Kisses. I think if you've got a deeper skin tone, this would be a beautiful highlighter. It's got a really nice gold reflect to it, which again isn't the most flattering on me, on my super pale, neutral undertone skin. So like I said, I've just been using this as an eyeshadow instead. They make beautiful eyeshadows as well. I also really love this bronzer from the same collection. This is the Summer of Love Triple Baked Bronzer. This is very fair, so I'd only get this if you've got a pale skin tone like me, but it's a really beautiful bronzer. It's not shimmery, it's just got a glow to it, so it's really nice if you've maybe got quite a matte foundation on and you want to give a bit of glow into your skin, or if you just want to have a very subtle bronzed look but not anything too dark or too over the top. Really beautiful for that. And then I've got 2 highlighters as well. There's one deeper one and there's one really pale one. The deeper one is this. This is called the Goddess of Faith highlighter. This is a little bit too dark for me to use as a highlighter, but I love this as an eyeshadow. And I also have, I've talked about this one quite a lot on my channel, but this is the Girl's Best Friend highlighter in the diamond shape. It just looks like that. It's so beautiful. It looks like I've hardly touched this, but I use it all the time. It's just that you need so little product because these are so pigmented. It doesn't look like I've reached for this at all, but honestly, I wear this so often. I'm sure these will last me for years because they're just so pigmented and you hardly need any product. But yeah, they're all really beautiful products. They perform so well. Definitely worth the £5. And I think that the next 2 products are really going to surprise you. I think a lot of you watching this are probably expecting me to pick my top 1 and 2 products from Revolution just because I love them and I talk about them so much. Don't get me wrong, they're still my favourite brand, absolutely, but there are 2 products in particular that I have been repurchasing again since university. I've been using them for years and I really notice a difference when I don't have them, when they're not in my makeup collection. Like when I've used them up and I haven't got around to repurchasing them and I'm using something else instead, I really do notice a difference in how my makeup looks and just how easy it is to actually do my makeup as well. So my favourite products are 2 concealers from Collection. So for number 2, my second favourite product is the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer. I'm sure you've all heard a lot about this. It's definitely a cult favourite. And there's a very good reason why a lot of people really love this. It's got some serious coverage going on. It's £4.19 and you get quite a lot of product in here. This tube lasts for ages. It lasts for ages when I use it anyway because I don't use this all over my face. This is a very matte, very quick drying formula, and I'm 29, nearly turning 30 years old and have dry skin, so obviously I tend to use this quite sparingly. But I find that if I've got a blemish, which happens a lot because I've got PCOS, but if I have a blemish, there's nothing that beats this. It's got really good coverage to it and the formula dries down very quickly, so I just like to get a little bit of this on one of those tiny eyeliner brushes and just dab the offending areas, and I know that it's just going to stay covered and it won't move for the rest of the day. This is also one of the only concealers that I like to use on my nose and on my chin. I don't know what it is about my nose and my chin, but a lot of foundations and concealers just kind of evaporate from that area. Even though I have dry skin, I must have like some combination areas, I guess. It doesn't make a fuss, it just does the job. I don't have like the best shade range I've ever seen, so I do want to just give a quick shout out to the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Concealer as well. This is kind of similar, it's definitely not quite as matte as the collection one, but it does have an equally impressive amount of coverage to it, and the shade range is vastly superior. There's like 60 shades to this. This one is over the budget for the video though. This is £6, I'm afraid. But if you can't find your shade in the collection Lasting Perfection Concealer, I think you will like this product quite a lot. And then my number one favourite product for less than £5 in the drugstore is the collection Illuminating Touch Concealer. Mine is in the shade Naked One, and I actually use this as an under eye corrector, so hopefully you'll be able to see when I do the swatches. But this is a very pink salmon coloured concealer, and that really counteracts the blue and the purple tones under my eyes really beautifully. So again, I'm 29 years old, nearly 30. I've got a few fine lines under my eyes now, and I can't just go in with like full coverage concealer like they do on Instagram. I can't do it. It looks horrible. So I prefer to use something that's a little bit darker, that just kind of colour corrects the blue tones. For me, that seems to work a lot better, and this is my favourite product for doing that. And I really wanted to give this the number one spot because I notice such a big difference when I forget to put this on or when I've run out. So many concealers just look so cakey under my eyes now, and even if I want to use something after this just to brighten things up a little bit, I still need to put this down first. So yeah, I really can't rave about this enough. I've definitely used this in a couple of makeup tutorials, which I will leave the links to down below if you want to see it in action, but it makes such a big difference on my under eyes. Again, the shade range might not be the best in the world, but if you can find something that suits you, I would definitely recommend this. And those are all my favourite products from the drugstore for less than £5. I really enjoyed like narrowing down this selection. It was a bit of a challenge actually, because a lot of drugstore products are creeping up to the £10 mark or more than that these days, but it's really nice to just think about what's out there that's really cheap. If you enjoyed watching this, then you can let me know by giving it a thumbs up, and let me know what your favourite drugstore products are in the comment section below. I'd really love to find out. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every Wednesday and Sunday at 9 AM. Not next Wednesday because I really need a lie-in, but after that it'll be every Wednesday and Sunday at 9 AM. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye!